road trip from Washington State to Vancouver. What is amazing, along this major highway, Highway 9 North, the speed limits go down to 15 miles an hour, and almost all of the roads I have been on for the last 2.5 hours have been tiny little roads through towns and villages with the speed limit of a maximum of 55 kilometers an hour. Tiny roads. And now I'm behind a lorry which is going at less than 40 kilometers an hour. But I hope in the next 2.5 hours I will eventually get to Canada and to Vancouver. But it's a very strange situation. Churches everywhere. Big 4x4s, but tiny little roads. Another 20 miles per hour on a major highway on the way to Canada. Here to my left is a lake, and very beautiful. What would be called in Sweden a very small lake, probably no more than the size of the average pond. But there are some remarkably beautiful houses that I can see along the side of the lake in the part that forms its valley. Well, I'm now stopped for a coffee. A place called Clear Lake, Washington, where the flags are out, and the community, of course, is full of churches. Here they say there's a tavern, so I'm going to go and have a look. See if I can rustle myself up a cup of coffee. I'm over 3.5 hours into my journey on the way into Canada, and I've already counted in this village a total of 7 churches. Let's go and see what the local tavern has to offer. It's an amazing little village. We're here in this little town. I found myself the Statue of Liberty, a monkey puzzle tree, and a couple of good bars. Well, on my 4 hours so far driving Washington North, 9 Road. Nothing has rocked my boat. It has neither been interesting or exciting. Of course it's exciting to go into Vancouver, but this road is laborious, boring, and it's just, should I say, living. Small farms, small villages, but nothing exciting. Hardly any mountains. The lakes are uninteresting. And would I recommend it to anyone? No. Take another road that's more interesting, more exciting, and has got something to open one's heart. Here, it's literally so boring. I've never been bored in my life, so I'm not getting bored, but I would describe it as boring. I just hope on my first visit to Vancouver, Canada, at least my heart can be smiling and my soul be happy with eventually arriving there after what will be 5.5 hours on the road. And it's not because it's raining, it's because even if it was a sunny day, this would not be described as an exciting route on an exciting part of the roadway from Seattle to Vancouver. Well, here we are now at the border between Washington State and Canada into Toronto. Washington State into Vancouver. The most exciting place I've seen so far, even though for me it's just literally full of takeaways and of course motels. Bob's Burger and Brew. Well, let's have a look what the border is going to look like. Well, eventually I've gone onto a state highway, and now I'm on my way through the border and on to Vancouver. I've got to say, Road 9 North from Seattle, difficult to say the least. But soon I'll be going through the border and into the area of Vancouver for a visit. Border crossing.
We are dreaming in the dark. We are nothing more than dust. Search but you stay lost. We are reaching for the stars, but we're making this too hard. And I wonder where you are. Mysterious, that's the part you always show, 'cause you're too curious. Maybe you
to be without McDonald's. What they got to say. Border to the United States and Canada. Eventually going in to Vancouver city centre. Ready for Christmas. Beautiful shops, and I'm hoping a very beautiful city. Well, I'm now on my way into downtown Vancouver. Incredible area with over 3 million people. The immigration into this area over the last 20-25 years is massive. Huge. All over the world, China, Asia, just massive. China is dominating businesses in this place, and I've got to say that the amount of immigration into Canada in the last year, 2 years, 500,000 people, but I've got to gotta say that Vancouver is an incredible city, but I wouldn't want to live here. Completely surrounded by mountains, the sea, incredible place to visit, but to live, I don't know. For me, living in the middle of the countryside suits me fine. I cannot imagine living in a metropolis of expense and vastness that one has to be in debt to be able to live, unless one's very, very, very wealthy. But then, if you were that wealthy, would you choose Vancouver? Last night I stayed in a tiny little bit of breakfast in the eye of the dragon, as they call it. And houses were costing $3, $4, $5 million per house. But is it really worth it? I asked the gentleman who ran the bed and breakfast, and he said everyone is in debt. Debt is what we do. Well, I looked at those houses and they were a meter away from the next house, and they were costing, these particular houses, $4 million. You literally had no space, no garden, and a few parking spaces. And that's life? Well, it's not life for myself. But here, building everywhere. I walked into a hotel last night and asked for a single room with breakfast. And they quoted me for the evening $350 American dollar. I asked them to transfer it into American dollar. $350 American dollars for a single room for a single night with breakfast. As I parked at the traffic lights, I looked into a shop, a furniture shop, packed out with people shopping. Even the shops here are open on a Sunday. As we get closer to downtown Vancouver, building, construction, and the amount of Teslas on the road is incredible. 7th Avenue West. Beautiful places. But they say that here you get mortgages on the properties for up to 35 years. Can you imagine paying 35 years every month on your mortgage to own the right to be in your flat for a certain amount of time, before such time as it goes back to the lessee who owns the ground underneath? The metropolis is incredible. The vastness, the debt. Is this what you would actually call living? Seymour Street North, 99. I can assure you, the feeling, incredible.
In 500 meters, turn left.
500 meters.
In 600 meters, turn left onto Helmcombe Street.
And on the streets, it's just immigration, immigration, immigration. I look onto the crowds, onto some of these streets. Asian, Middle Eastern, it's all immigrants coming here to be in debt for the rest of their living days. Well, here we are in downtown Vancouver. Incredible. Sunday morning. Hundreds of people, thousands of people on the streets. But you go from a place like Seattle in America into Vancouver, and there's one thing that you notice remarkably is the size of the people in Vancouver are half the size of the people in America. And there, the snowy mountain peaks. Beautiful mountains that surround Vancouver. "500 yards from the main town is the poor laying on the streets. Hundreds and hundreds of beggars. This was within 500 yards of where I was. The street is full of beggars. The poor, destitute. From one street corner to the next. Drug addicts. Homeless. Literally a few yards from where I was actually at the harbour side. This area is full of graffiti and full of homeless people. Homeless and destitute on the streets. Now I have just seen the other side of Vancouver. People that are so drugged up that they literally don't know what to do. Picking up butts and rubbish from the streets. And this goes on and on and on. Street after street full of beggars, homeless, the destitute, within a stone throw of central Vancouver. This guy was a shock.